Today we've got a flight review on the Freewing T-45 version 2 90mm. Let's talk about a couple of differences versus the V1. They removed the active leading edge slats, so now it's just got fixed slats. It's still got the plastic leading edge, so that took 2 servos off each side and a bunch of wiring. They left the speed brake, however they did upgrade the motor to a 1900 kV 9-blade, so should give quite a bit more power versus the version 1. Even though 9-blade, you got a lot higher RPMs. Let's take a look at the equipment for today's flight. We're using Spectrum IX14 transmitter. We've got an AR8360T. You'll notice it's mounted sideways. One antenna goes up here, and the other one goes straight back for 90-degree orientation. The battery placement is a SMC 6S5300 LiHV. We've got it on the second set of holes in the middle, just behind, touching the edge of the holes in the bottom of the battery tray. You'll notice that you got one set here, the second set there. That's where we've got it mounted up. That gives you a neutral CG. The AS3X is tuned on the AR8360T. I'll have those gains down in the description, so if you want to set up your plane with tuned rates, you'll have those available. And also, if you want to use them on your maiden flight, because you like to use AS3X for your maiden flight, those will be definitely a great starting point. And you know, you can turn them down or up based upon your preference, but I've got a high and a low setting, so you'll have 2 settings if you want to try those out. So we've done enough talking about this T-45. Let's get it in the air, put it through some paces. Once we get it on the ground, we'll do our post-flight results.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
Now we got that CP right, got real sweet takedown. One of the better sounding jets, especially to have just that 9-blade in there. Really nice. And versus the V1, you can tell it's a lot lighter weight on how it flies and maneuvers around. And you don't have to fly it with as much throttle. A little bit of wind out here, so a little bit determines the AS3X. Got it smoothing out. I'll put those rates down in the description. That's about 60% throttle and it climbed up, no problem. This plane, when you go in the upline and the downline, you just pull the power back just a little bit, and it'll go about the same speed on both. So we'll go across the field, do a heat check so we get a top speed result. Check. We got 3 in the green.
You're down.
Got 3 coming down. We'll bring it on around. Put the flaps in on the downwind. A little bit of elevator mixed in with it. About 50% throttle. Lower it down a little bit. A little bit because we did a little bit sharper bank than we normally do. Got the trees made. Put it down, pull the speed brake out. Slow it down real quick. Turn it around. Put the speed brake back up. Flaps up. We'll clean it back up. Bring it in. I really like that nose light, even though it's sunny out here. It shows up really well. So we'll take it over to the bench and look at the post-flight results.
Now we've got our performance flight completed for the flight review. Let's take a look at some of the results. First, we'll check the battery. We're on a 315 timer. We flew it for 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the throttle. And let's see what we got on the cells. So we're at 66%, 396. Give you a perspective of timer versus throttle management a little bit better. I've got a couple other flights that I put on this plane and I really pushed it harder, and I also went higher up in the timer. You can go, if you're flying mixed flying and flying it more aggressive, you can get 3 minutes on the throttle and be at 385 and still have enough for a few go arounds, because this plane being a lot lighter now doesn't take as much power getting it back up and in motion on a go around, and bringing it back around just doesn't eat up a lot of power like it used to because of the weight and also the better motor system. So you'll notice on the flight review, this thing with the double nose wheel, I put it a little bit off the side of the center line. When I took off, it held straight down the runway. It will maneuver a little bit if you've got a high rudder rate, because you'll notice that the suspension is kind of soft in the back, which is good because it'll soak up harder landings. However, it can maneuver just a little bit, so something to be careful. It's not bad though, because that double nose wheel really does its job on the front. Took out, it's very easy to lift it out, very minimal stick up elevator to pull it out, flies clean through the sky. It's just got a great flight envelope for a 90mm. You know, this is a Navy trainer in the US, and for a 90mm bird, it flies really well and hands down above the version 1. We did a heat check over the runway. I'll put that top speed in the bottom right hand corner. And then when we brought it in, we didn't use the speed brake. On this plane, I like to use full flaps. I actually have a little bit less flap deflection on landing than what they call for in the book to get a little bit more airspeed. And you can see it sat down really nicely. It came down, the nose just planted itself, and it rolled down. And as it was rolling out down the runway, you'll notice I deploy the speed brake and slow it down, and it really does slow it down. So this plane doesn't have reverse thrust. However, you can see bringing it in with some speed, and then you hit that speed brake, it really slows it down. You can use that in the air. As you've seen, I didn't use it and got a really nice landing out of it. So, you know, that might be something you want to try. And speaking of, down in the comments, if you have this plane, let me know what your thoughts is about using the speed brake. If you like using it on landing, or if you do like I did and just use it on the rollout to slow the plane down. If y'all like the flight review we did today, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. If y'all want to see future videos, subscribe to the channel while you're here. I appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you on the next one.